right, so welcome to episode number 13 of the Nosedive podcast.
14.
14. The first
14.
time I missed. It's the first
Can't
time
believe I got
missed.
it right. This is why I check, ladies and gents. This is why I have to do the little. Only because I was also editing the last episode about 20 minutes ago, so I know that it's 14.
That's why that was the episode that I was missing. I was counting the online episodes.
Yeah. Too
But
slow.
in the meantime, we already have an awesome new episode. By the way, I'm Vinie. We have Mark next to me. We are on a roll on the podcasts, trying to get some people, some familiar, some unfamiliar, on air so they can share their story. And we mainly try to pick out some people who have an impact on the community because there's loads of them out there. Mark, how have you been?
As always, I've been pretty good. Unlike the last episode where I'd been massively one-wheeling in a very short period of time, I don't think I can remember the last time I actually rode my one-wheel in the last 2 weeks, and it has been bloody nice in the UK. It has been lovely. so there we go.
It's kicked in for sure.
Hell yeah, it's been lovely everywhere. But no, I've been doing other one-wheel related things that have taken me away from going anywhere near my one wheel, but there we go. But you've been churning out videos left, right, and center.
Yeah, we've been doing some effort on getting that or shaking that winter stiffness out of the body because you can definitely Europe is not the best period to ride in winter time, so it definitely takes its toll on the body, but it is good. I've been getting some movement. The hips are starting to feel better because of just making sure that I can move again. So that's positive, and that really motivates to ride. The Skrrrt Crew has also joined the party again because some one wheels were dead in the winter. There's a few guys who had some really shit with their one wheel, so it's turning out to be a lot better. Everybody's back onto snuff and is riding the one wheel, so it's really cool to see everybody joining again in the nice weather that we had in the last couple of days.
It's kind of similar to the sort of the motorcycling kind of group of people, in that a lot of people just sort of hibernate over the winter and don't ride their bikes. And then they go, oh, it's a lovely day, I'll get the bike out and have a go. And then they realize that the brakes have seized, they've rusted, the battery doesn't start, it's all gone, everything's gone wrong. And then you end up spending 2-3 weeks getting parts, fixing it, making it running, just as the weather probably changes again. Hopefully it's not going to change too much, but I think that happens with most kind of, I don't want to say summer sports, because a lot of people still ride during the winter months, but more people hibernate over the winter. And then you get the whole, I left my battery on charge for the last 6 months because we had one warm day in July and that was the last time I rode. And then you get all the comments in the forums and stuff of people saying, why won't my board start? So it's those little things we all learn along the way, I suppose.
I had someone in my YouTube channel who was asking, he bought a one wheel with 60 miles, an XR Plus, which is probably has been stored for a while. And it can only do 4 to 5 miles on a full battery charge. So that battery is definitely smoked. So we do have to take care of that. I do have to shout out the Dutch guys in Holland. They are shredding all winter long. They do have the advantage of having a very hardened terrain, which dries out pretty quickly. It's like a combination of sandy and clay ground, and they do shred all winter, and it's really awesome to see these guys because they fly through that roller coaster trail. It's so amazing.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to see. I enjoy seeing winter videos because you get to see people just cruising, riding, enjoying themselves, maybe not pushing it too hard because the ground hurts even more during the winter. But I'm excited to see, and I am, as I scroll through Instagram and places like that, I'm just seeing more and more videos, more and more posts, and lots of really nice edits of videos as well that people are posting up as they come out of their little cocoons from winter. So it's good to see, as you say, the Dutch guys getting out there and riding constantly. I can't. I ride during the winter, but I don't know. I think this last winter, probably not as much as the previous one, even though it's been warmer. But if you get a nice densely packed forest, you don't get too cold. But if you stand around for too long, you start to get a little bit chilly. But summer's on its way.
The cold doesn't really bother me, although it shortens the rides, but it's mainly the rain here in Belgium that makes the surface very mushy. And yeah, as you've seen in some of my videos, sometimes it's really not rideable. But we are finding new spots everywhere, mountain bike tracks. So we found something similar to the Dutch spot in the Antwerp region. We still need to go and check it out. That will probably be one of the next videos, but it looks very promising. It's like a hardened bike path, and it has like in some places that has two lanes next to each other, so you can actually like race each other
Very nice.
next to each other. It looks very
Very
promising. So
nice.
yeah,
But
it's
of course, sorry, I'm losing it already. Can't be doing this. What are we? About 5 minutes in, I'm losing my voice. That's not good. But you've also got so in the news, I suppose you had in the time that we've had it in between our episodes, Onewheel have announced their little Dolomites, their little European venture.
yeah, that was probably the big secret PJ was talking about in the previous episode.
Absolutely. So that's out the bag, and yeah, I mean it looks great. I mean it's pricey. I was going to check before we came online, but I forgot to have a look to see if they've sold all their spaces yet or not. I'd be intrigued to know if they have. I mean, I looked at it. Do you have a little look at what was on offer?
Yeah, I've looked into it. They also did like a contest where they awarded somebody the trip.
Yeah, that was
I know
nice. That was nice.
Yeah, a lot of people were acing that, and then it is quite costly. But I think that's mainly the price coming from the States because it's something they organize from the States. So I don't know if it even applies to Europeans or other continents. I think
I don't know. I didn't even check that. I looked at it all and looked at the website, but I didn't actually think would they. I mean, it would make sense to, but maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they took that into account, but it could be an all American thing. I'm not really sure, but it's cool. They reached out to PJ and Martin, two of the Italian legends, to guide the rides in the Dolomites. It's a massive that I'm not familiar with, so I'm really looking forward to seeing some footage from there. And with two guides like that, it cannot go wrong, I think.
No, definitely have a good time. I did notice in their package, I don't think it included the flights, but it included like the rental, the use of the boards and stuff like that, with a nice little thing at the bottom says, with an opportunity to buy your board, which probably means they don't want to have to ship them back. So I imagine they're like, yeah, you can buy your board while we're here, but we're not shipping it back for you because that's going to get expensive. So now it's yours. Now you can send it back yourself, which I thought was quite amusing, really. But maybe that's just my cynical British interpretation of that. But that's the way I read that. But yes, it looks good. It does look good.
Yeah, it's they're trying to reach out to the European community. I think definitely with the American market, this current situation, don't know what that's gonna bring, but yeah, they might have to focus a bit more on that because back in the day when we were in Portugal on the EUL finals, we talked to Jeff, and he was already saying that there was like some stagnation in the American market, but the European is still growing, so they might want to reach out. I don't know. We'll see.
It's not necessarily an untapped market, but we have a lot. The European countries in themselves have a lot more restrictions on PEVs. And so they'll have to push against that. But then, I was in there's a retailer in the UK called Curry's. They sell like TVs, fridges, everything, literally everything you can get that's electrical. Right out the front, they had a bank of about 5 different electric scooters that are immediately illegal. But these were being sold in a town that you can hire them. So you can hire electric scooters as you can in most European countries now and ride around, and that's all absolutely fine. But in the UK, you can't buy and ride your own electric scooter, and yet in this shop, literally in the front of it, and it is the biggest brand shop you can go to in the UK, and they've just got this bank of alongside their iPads and their Apple Macs and their Samsung TVs and their fridge freezers and all the rest of it. It's just these. I was like, how can they get away with that? You've got loads of different stores doing that, but they know they're selling it in a massive town that has like no one has gardens that are going to be riding around in these £600 scooters. It's just like, how can they get away with that? I don't. Yeah. Maybe again, that's me being a little bit cynical, but it's a weird world that we live in. These big chain stores now are selling these electric vehicles, and we can't ride them. So yeah, there is a market there. There is a market there that one will need to tap into. But it's interesting that Jeff's saying it's stagnated a little bit.
Well, in Europe, it's hard to find a dealer that still sells an official Onewheel. I think you almost have to ship it from the States. There's still a few dealers out here, but since margins are so small, there's a lot of people who throw in the towel. So it's hard to find like a dealer. We used to have one in Belgium where you can test ride these machines, which I thought was awesome, because you can actually test before you ride. It's an expensive buy, so you really want to know what's going on, and now that option is gone as well, so it makes it harder and less accessible, I think.
Yeah, there's a few stores in the UK that still sell Onewheels, but they sell them alongside e-bikes and scooters and all the rest of it. So
I think it's impossible to live from selling Onewheel stuff alone in Europe. Don't know about other countries, but out here it is. Talking about legal or not legal, we do have a legal country who have announced an event. They finally have a date out. It's the Float Connection in France.
Yep.
They are doing the event on the 30th of May and the 1st of June.
They are.
So that's going to be really wicked. I was not there last year, but I've heard very good commentary from a lot of people. So I think it's definitely one to keep an eye on.
Yep. I know I've said it so many times, and I know I keep saying it, but this one is penciled into the calendar. I just need to sort out some passports for my kids, and then it's very likely they won't watch this, so they don't know. But it's very likely that we'll go to that. I'm trying to see if one of the other members of the Shred the Shires team wants to come along with me with his son as well, so we could be rocking up with 3 Groms, which would be quite cool, and 2 old farts that can't race. Well, so it's Gary, it's Broken Arm Gary from WoW. So we're looking at whether or not we can get to Gignac, but I think a couple of other members of our team are also heading down to the Float Connection. Speaking of, we have some guests waiting. Yeah,
and it's an interesting team that we are going to talk to today, because you are part of it, Mark.
What? Well, am I going to get to talk about something?
You get to interview yourself today.
Well, I talk to myself all the time, so let these guys in. I've got to look around the camera again. Let everyone. Okay, after a short break for some technical difficulties, that's 2 podcasts this has happened with now. Oh, look, it's the Shred the Shires team, or at least like a third or a half. I lose track of how many people are actually on our team now. Dearie me. So I get to officially now talk about Shred the Shires, but actually, this was the conversation I had earlier, was that I'm going to try and talk very little about Shred the Shires, because shut up. Let somebody else talk about it for once, which would be a change for most people. So welcome, guys. Welcome.
Mark, I think we should do a round of introduction before.
We should, because I'm not very good at doing that. So we'll start with Jorge. Introduce yourself, man.
Oh man, what a pressure. Well, I'm Jorge. I'm part of the Shred the Shires team, also of the Skrrrt team. I have my break a little bit in a half, but yeah, I'm happy to be here, and yeah, I'm a one-wheel rider from, I think, 3 years ago, but I don't know what information you need about me.
Just a brief introduction, man. That's perfect.
A brief introduction, okay. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, but yeah, I'm a graphic designer and web developer, and I'm part of the Shred the Shires team, trying to make all the graphic stuff and multimedia stuff, also on the Skrrrt team. So yeah, this is me. This is one of my designs.
We're all wearing Jorge branded gear right now. We are your models, where it's a hat, a cup, t-shirts. Everything is by Jorge.
Thank you, man.
Even the sticker on your microphone, Mark.
Even my aftershave is by Jorge. I don't know how I managed to get some stuff into a bottle into my house, but there you go.
So yeah, this is me, man.
Thank you for that.
Nadine, introduce yourself.
I'm Nadine. I have nothing to do with Onewheels, but somehow got dragged into this. I worked behind the bar last year and have just stuck around.
Short and brief. Thank you.
That was short and brief. Excellent. Okay.
I don't ride. I don't compete. Nothing. I just turn up.
She got dragged in, and now she's a critical component of the team.
I'm a very big fan of
Absolutely.
Freddie, so I've just stayed.
Oh, well, should we introduce Freddie? Freddie.
Yeah.
This is Fred the Shires, mascot of Shred the Shires.
He's had a bath. He looks clean. Has he had a bath recently just for his
He's a bit
podcast?
yellow, actually.
You should do a T-shirt with like an image of Fred the Shires.
That's a good idea. Take note.
Marketing advice.
And with Fred is James and Kate.
Yeah, I'm Kate. I guess do a lot of the admin kind of side of things on Shred the Shires team, and enjoy racing. Been to a lot of the UL events.
Which you're doing very, very well. We have one of our champs in the chat.
Most points by a freaking mile, whether it's males or women's races of EOL points in the league last year. So you guys are not. I mean, Jorge did an okay job. You guys are really underplaying your role here. So James, give it some welly.
All right. Without me, no. I look after the bogs.
You make sure we have power
Yeah,
to charge the
that's
board,
true.
to have a shower.
So I kind of mostly look after the facilities. So the generator to charge the boards and the toilets so we can poo.
Cool. Important, yeah.
And so on and so forth. So, yeah. But we should probably talk about Mark. He's the ringleader, really.
Yeah, Mark, what's your role in Shred the Shires?
I cut the grass. I mean, if we're doing that, guys, if we're playing that game, I cut the grass. That's all I do. I cut
And
the
you build
grass
the
and
obstacles.
I build the obstacles. Yeah, which miraculously lasted last year. They are still in tip-top condition this year. And I've built more obstacles.
You do also test out the obstacles which we don't use.
Crash
Yes.
test dummy.
Do risk
2.0.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Go public.
no, it didn't actually. No, I don't think it did. So for those of you who aren't aware, last year I did build 2 seesaws. There is a video on the Shred the Shires Instagram from last winter of me successfully testing the seesaw. However, I did. It was a successful test. An absolutely brilliant test. However, I got a little bit too overconfident with my seesaw. It was like December. I think it was late December, so it was frosty. It was wet, and the seesaw I'd left outside had got a little bit icy. And I decided to ride up, and because it was so well, I mean, I was impressed, so well built that it balanced really nicely. So I tried to balance on the board in the center of the seesaw, which, I mean, I didn't ride for 8 weeks afterwards. And there's a reason why in the very first promo videos we did for Shred the Shires with all the flag, and there's literally, we just had a bunch of us running around. I'm not riding because I could barely walk because I'd smashed up my back so badly. So
But
yes,
the
I do.
video is great.
When you told
Really
your
good.
doctor what you'd done and showed them the video.
Yeah, the physio. I managed to book a physio appointment. Literally, I rang the GP a couple of days later and went, I'm in pain. And they went, come see the physio. And he asked to see the video, like the little snippet, about 4 or 5 times. Once he'd finished laughing, he gave me a few exercises and stuff. So, yes, I do test them, but I'm not very good on them, evidently. Thanks for that. Yep.
So, talking about Shred the Shires, how did the idea come to life, actually, to have Shred the Shires?
I suppose that's my question. I'm going to really try not to answer all the damn questions for this, but is my question, I suppose. So obviously I have bought Onewheel Pint to start with, and at my dad's farm, we've got this very big field, which is now the Shred the Shires site, and there's a little bit with some trees and stuff. And I just decided to try and build a little berm to start with. I just wanted a little berm, somewhere to play on, so my kids could practice and stuff like that. Built a little bit there. Then Uncle, he's got some builders that use the yard, and they had some big piles of dirt. And I went, if you don't need that, bring it down to the little shred track. And then we piled those in there, and just kind of it started to build from that little shred track area. Nadine did some nice little painted signs of shred track and stuff like that. And then I got a little bit creative with a it's not a digger, but I use it as a digger. A big tractor with a bucket on the front, and just scraped a massive hole in the ground that's created another berm. A few of the guys came over. James and Kate came over and riding around, and Andrew, who's on our team, came over. They said, "Oh, we could do, people could camp here, and we could just get people to ride around." I was like, "Yeah, the little bit I've designed is basically no bigger than a skate park, designed." I dug, and then it was eventually we all went to WoW. Me, James, Kate, Andrew, Gary, all in the chalet. We came to your fantastically well organized and ran event. And then I sat there probably after a couple of beers in the lodge and went, you know what, guys, we probably could do this. And that was a good error of judgment, alcohol fueled decision, I think. So that's how it came about.
I seem to remember a lot of prodding or encouragement from Andrew.
Yes, yeah, I think Andrew was definitely the main fuel and the fire behind that. Just saying, look, we just camp. I could play some music on my guitar, and then I think it was we were in the lodge, and Andrew was just playing on his guitar and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, okay, but this is going to be a lot of work. I emphasized that it wasn't just a case of if you book it, they will come, which was one of the Instagram posts I put up. But yeah, with the team, it's. Yes, I am the ringleader was a great word to use. But without all the other people of the team, it would be an absolute shit show, if I'm brutally honest. If I was left in charge of anything other than cutting grass, it would be a shit show. And then, of course, Jorge just messaged me on Instagram when I done like 2 or 3 posts, I think. And Jorge messaged going, your logo. I could do something better. And I went, is this for free?
And absolutely, yes, it was for free. This is one of the reasons that I love to do all of the stuff as a graphic designer. And, I have a lot of time that I've been working on some projects that I don't like what is surrounded around, but this time was a chance to make something that I really love. So this is that, and that moment was really easy. But technically, I think it was the first try where I made the logo and they love it. So these things only happens when, as a graphic designer, as a customer, you are in the same point. So it was very good. But I love that moment.
I remember the conversation and the messages you sent to me. Like, I'll put something together. I'll see what. And I messaged the team going, "Oh, this guy, I don't know what he's going to come up with. He's doing it for free, so he's just going to dabble." And then Jorge literally sends us, the main logo. And I was like, "Yes." I showed it to Nadine. She was like, "Yes." I mean, I went, "Can you try some different colors?" And Jorge immediately went, "I've tried different colors. I'll send them to you, but this one is the best." And we were like, Yes, it is. So that then created an awful lot of work for Jorge, and is going to cost me some drinks when he comes to Shred the Shires.
No. I take notes. I'm taking a go.
And talking about a team, it's not the whole team that is present here today. So you have some more awesome people backing you guys up. So who else is in the team?
Yeah, we got a pretty big team, and everyone is really critical for making the show happen. So we talked about Andrew. He's one of our chefs.
You may have seen him racing in chef attire.
Yeah,
he came last year.
No, he didn't come last, but he nearly came. I think he came from second from last. But...
Nice.
And he's going to be leading some of our group rides this year. He's also providing us with some evening entertainment, as he did last year. If you were there, you heard him on the guitar. We've got Ben on bar, catering, another one of our chefs, also helping out on the kind of facility side, or definitely did last year. This year he's going to be focusing on some of the games that we're putting on, in addition
also
to
making great designs.
Yeah, he's good at designs as well.
Yeah, and he's really good with the 3D printer as well. So like the medals and stuff last year, and you'll see this year, that's the work of Ben. So
Yep.
really, spends the nights running his 3D printer.
I would often say I have ridiculously stupid ideas. Nadine is fully well aware of this, but my bonk blocks idea, I would have never been able to make bonk blocks if Ben hadn't stepped up and gone, we could 3D print this. We could make a mold from this. And I was like, can you put the logo on there and stuff like this? Like, yes. Not a clue how any of this works, but you make shit like that happen, which is fantastic.
Nice.
Absolutely.
For sure.
We've got Eduardo, who's a brilliant plumber, making sure you've got drinking water when you come to Shred the Shires.
Yeah, crucial
Showers.
indeed.
And
But
he looks
also,
good.
like,
Looks good
massively-
in a dinosaur costume as well.
Yeah.
Does
I
indeed.
saw that on the website, his profile picture.
Yeah, he'll no doubt rock that out. He's also like very involved in kind of track design and testing. I think Ed falls more per minute than anyone else when he's on a one wheel, so he'll really kind of test the features and the track and make sure it's ready.
He's a warrior.
Yes, for sure.
He pads up. That's the main thing.
I can check that on Portugal last year was an amazing. That is crazy.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
want to
you're-
learn how to fall, practice falling without hurting yourself. Follow Ed, watch Ed.
Absolutely, yeah. Follow Ed's lines when you're in a group ride, and you'll learn how to fall, take dangerous lines, and just be entertaining.
Roll it
So
out,
that's cool.
roll
Yeah.
it out.
Some people master that. We also have one of those unlit projectiles in our team.
Every team needs one, right?
Yeah, I think so, for the exploration and checking possibilities.
For sure.
All right. Anyone else on the team?
We've got Gary, who's provided all of our merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, amazing. All of our t-shirts, mugs, bags. Mark, what else? Just all sorts of...
Stickers.
Charging cables, stickers, and other things that are going in the goodie bags this year that I'm not telling anyone because they're all part of the goodie bag surprises. But they are good. They are really good.
Yeah.
Oh, the race shirts, which last year were awesome, and this year are a different type of awesome.
I ordered one. So
Why
I'm
is
really
design-
curious.
designs. Yeah.
They look really awesome. So.
Yeah. Last year were kind of winter jerseys, and this year's it's like summer jerseys.
Oh.
Yeah, I should have weighed them. I've got a mock-up of it, and it's so much lighter than last year.
Oh, Mark, now you know how to calculate grams per square metre. You could have calculated the density of the race.
I could have done that, but that was AI that calculated the gram. The shit we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, when you are organising a one-wheel event, it's not just about track design. It's working
what
out
marquees we need.
what thickness of marquees and how they work in grams per square metre, and then laying them out and measuring them. So it's
It was how do I measure the weight of a marquee without measuring the whole weight of a marquee?
It
To
just
make
seems
our
like an
nosedive
interesting
even
challenge.
bigger.
yeah, it was an interesting experiment to find out. But there we go. So yeah, that's the stuff we've had to do for it. Is that everyone on the team?
Nick,
No.
who's on?
Nick now.
Yeah. Sorry, Nadine. You go.
So Nick Oppie?
Yes, yeah. Nick's doing a lot of our entertainment this year, so he's doing the pub quiz. I'm not sure what else. I think he's helping host with the film nights and things, isn't he?
Yeah, he's also been he's been out doing Hermes sections for us around not at Shred the Shires, but kind of areas nearby, so that kind of before the event and after the event, people have got some places to explore and some segments to race on Hermes, which is cool.
Yeah, it's about 20 minutes, half an hour drive from the event. So,
The one that's on the Friday and possibly Monday, if people want to go to, about 35 minutes from Shred the Shires, is the Chick Sands ride, which is a nice big forest, loads of different routes to be able to take. But it's sort of it's a pine forest. It's sort of sandy soil, so it dries. Even if it pisses it down, it dries really, really quickly. And if it's freezing cold, it's so dense. It's lovely and warm during the winter. I think we went for a New Year's Day ride, didn't we? It was like -1, but I was getting hot in my jacket and stuff. So yeah, Nick's been doing that. With him and Clint are putting together an awful lot of routes on Ride Hermes across the UK this year.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah, I think-
they're really hitting that.
It's
I
quite
think I
hard
still-
to remember what everyone is doing without saying things that we don't want to tell you guys yet.
Yeah.
We want to say publicly, we're like, no, these things are coming up, but
Everyone's super busy, but also everyone's kind of got their like specific role, which is cool. Which is, you know, many hands make light work.
Yeah, cool.
We also took advantage of some child labour, didn't we? We used Ruby and
Gary,
Jay quite a lot
Ruby,
last year.
Yep.
Your kids, Matt.
When we
Yes.
say
Yeah.
we're a kids-friendly event, what we really mean is
They work.
To work.
Yeah, my boys don't realise that we've got a build weekend coming up. So basically, the routine we have, we build everything and set everything up the weekend before, and so my boys will be working very, very hard. To be fair, they've both been sitting in. I haven't cut all the grass. They've sat and done about 5-6 laps themselves on the lawnmower, cutting the grass, and they might have been helping me put a few sticks into the ground that I haven't told everybody that we've been doing recently. So we're getting some work done behind the scenes with a little bit of child labour. Paid by ice creams and Haribos, which is, you know, the best forms of payment in my book.
Definitely, if you're that age, nothing can beat that.
Yeah.
That still works on Mark now.
Any age, yeah.
I think it's an age thing.
Yeah, it's a bit. Gotta keep that inner child alive. Yeah, man. So I hear a lot of things: obstacles, racing, group rides. What is the Shred the Shires concept about?
That's a good question.
Shall I jump in a little sec?
Go for it.
Yeah, because I think that when like Mark and Andrew first conceived it after going to WoW, I think like the initial idea was kind of like a mini Onewheel festival, and we definitely did that last year. But when we got kind of affiliated with EOL, we kind of also became a pretty keen race event. Like we all got very excited about racing because we were part of the EOL, and we still are. But I think this year we're going to try and get a little bit more back to the roots. So as well as the racing, making sure there's loads of social activities happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So there's things for racers to do, but there's also things for non-racers to do. Because I'm sure you know this, Vinie, when you're like in it running a race, like everything else just goes out of your brain. And so we're making the big challenge for the team this year is less about the build phase and more about the live. It's kind of having like multiple things going so that everyone's
That's a
having
very
fun.
good point, a very good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the realization with most event organizers, that things were a bit too much race focused. And because of the busyness that you have while doing that, it's very hard. Also, the weather influences a lot of things, and that mostly gets the priority. So that's where it's important to deliver the experience to all your customers and not only to the racers. And I see a lot of events taking steps in towards the direction of making it more social again, which I really like.
We're also going to kind of encourage everyone to have a go at the racing, so it's not just for the kind of hardcore EOL people. It's for everyone to have a go, and there's going to be the opportunity for absolutely everybody to have a go at a head-to-head race with people with similar sort of ability. So yeah, everyone can get stuck in.
So all levels can join the fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know how much we've announced, but basically, as well as the people who get through to the kind of EOL finals, will kind of run off everyone else as well.
Yeah, so we're having like a Shred the Shires kind of mini league within the whole.
We still haven't.
It's a good way to as a riders grown, I think. So yeah, I think there's a very, very good way to plan the event. Yeah.
Because it's like as a rider, like as a racer, like it's so different doing a time trial than it is doing a 4x4. Like it's
exactly. This is something that I can check in the Find the Flock connection last year, and for me that was the first time that I experienced like that. And it's my experience, but it was something amazing. And I grow more in 3 days trying to make that time trials with other guys than made it alone. This is absolutely sure. So yeah, it's a very, very good way to do it.
It will be interesting to see that evolution this year and more events adapting to different methods to make it more interesting for everyone. So it's cool that people are really listening to the people, taking on the feedback and acting on it. So cool to see.
It's a level of involvement as well, because the way we're hoping to run it, and I think unless it's torrential, which it won't be. My uncle has told me May's going to be dry this year, so it won't be. And we've laid out the track. Kate and I very, very carefully, touch wood, Kate and I very, very carefully laid out the track to avoid bits that were damp last year that we end up having to move. But the way we're hoping to play this out is that you have the amateur race on the Saturday after the time trial. So the pro race, we want to come up with something different, but I keep calling it an amateur and pro race. But the top 16 riders in the time trials will then race on the Sunday for the bigger prizes. So they get an opportunity basically to rest. And the ladies and the groms will ride on the Sunday as well, because we realised that when we did the races last year, all the groms are knackered and having to wait, and kids don't wait very well, and they get bored, and then they get in the way, and then my kids sod off and come down on their bicycles and get those in everybody's way because they're bored. So we're just going to try and stagger it out, so you get a little bit of racing. If you want to watch the racing, great, stick around. If you don't, we'll have social rides and fun other games happening at the same time. So I suppose the question of being, what is the main conception of Shred the Shires? It is trying to bring all aspects that everybody enjoys in Onewheeling to our festival. We didn't call it a festival originally. It was just until Jorge came up with a wonderful little image last year. We went, fuck, we're a festival, aren't we? We are a Onewheel festival. We've got music, we've got barbecue, we've got food trucks, we've got games, races, social rides, wristbands, little dangly dingly wristbands that I think Ed is still wearing his from last year. How? Because that man must stick his hand in so many different holes with spiders and crap, and how that's still on his wrist, I don't know. But it's just that whole ethos is basically, we are a festival. We've got camping on site and stuff like that as well. It's going to be, it was good last year. It's going to be even better this year.
Yeah, and on that as well, I think that's one of the reasons for getting Nick Oppie involved as well, is to make it more evening entertainment, basically, to kind of not necessarily go later into the night because people get knackered, but more to do kind of when the sun goes down, and try and like create a bit of an atmosphere where everyone wants to come together, as opposed to kind of, obviously people can do what they like, but try and kind of keep everyone together as much as possible, and do fun things, whether it's pub quizzes or
even last year there was a lot of like a community vibe rather than a race vibe, so it's nice that we've focused more on that again this year.
Really nice.
We're emphasizing that.
I'm really excited about the pub quiz.
We were talking earlier about measuring marquees. We're doubling the size of our nosedive bar so that there's more room for everyone to come and do the pub quiz.
Yeah, and to keep the sun off, because it can get really hot.
Yeah,
so
it did. It did. Everyone joke. I say this every year. It's the same as WoW, when it rained at WoW and all the rest of it. Is that everyone's like, oh yeah, every event was really wet last year. For like most of them were just a day. Like we had the Friday that was wet. The Saturday was lovely, so we just changed things up. Beautiful. I think I got sunstroke. I'm pretty sure I got sunstroke, or it could have been just mental exhaustion. I'm not too sure which one it was. Bit of both. Alcohol poisoning probably as well. To be fair, the bar was well stocked. Pretty sure the team spent more money at the bar than anybody else. I'm pretty sure we did. There's no free drinks for the team. I don't know why that's a rule. I don't know who came up with that.
I think Gary
rule.
might have been half of that bill.
Yeah. I know Nick was the other half then.
Yeah.
I think
that's why we had to bring him into the team.
I think I still owe him some beers from last year, because I promised him that when he took me to the hospital, but I was in so much pain and so absent that I still owe him the beer. So they're coming, Nick.
He will enjoy that. Absolutely, he will love that.
Can I do a shout out to the She Swerves team, who are going to be doing a women's progression clinic on the Saturday afternoon, which is really cool. And we're going to also dedicate some women's only track time at the same time as a social ride, so the women get a bit of quiet time to practice the track without the kind of pressure of other people being around. So
I've
we
noticed
did that at Portugal, and it was really helpful.
Yeah.
Do we know how many like female riders we have this year, roughly?
No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put pressure on you there. I'm just curious. I
think the data's available.
That's a great corporate answer, isn't it? The data is available, and I would put the answer here. There you go. So it's an amazing number of female riders that we have coming to Shred the Shires this year. I'm impressed. Obviously, it's more than last year because it's this amount. But I mean, to be fair, overall, we now have, and because this is going to go out probably in a week or so, that we have more riders booked this year than we had last year.
Yeah.
We, as of recording, we've got 73 adults, and we have 15 groms.
Nice one.
Are those
Very nice
people
number.
riding, or are those people attending?
Those are people on Onewheels. Attending numbers are bigger because we've got another 30 odd people that are spectating. Shout out to all the groms if you're watching this, if they're allowed to watch it. I don't know they'll be allowed to watch this, but shout out to the groms that have convinced their parents to bring them, because there are a lot of groms tickets and spectators camping, and that's it. No adult ticket with the groms ticket. There's about 5 or 6 kids that have made their parents come along. The benefit is that our tickets, kids are free. So they're paying £30 for a weekend away because the adult is camping, and that's it. So shout out to those kids, because I don't think I'd be able to convince my dad to have done that when I was a kid.
Some slick moves right there.
Yeah. And it's actually it's like super cool having the kind of like all generations atmosphere. It's it's so fun watching the Groms race, and
There was a lot of chanting last year to the kids' races, and it was really nice. It's really very sweet.
It was
and there's
Willow?
so much fun on the group rides as well.
No, there was a young girl. I think she was 6 or 7. I think she was. Was it Willow last year?
Yeah.
That had only just started riding, and basically she did one of the group rides, because you get 70 odd Onewheels together. It takes forever. So it was about a 4-mile ride, and she did this, and there's a few tears during the ride because she didn't feel she could keep up with everyone else. But then there was other people way behind her. I think at one point she came through and her dad had stopped there and she was crying because she's saying, I'm slow and slow and slow. And then Gerard and Patrick came riding through, and I went, look at these guys. These are the guys at the back. You're not slow. You're faster than these guys. And she perked up, jumped on the board and carried on riding. Next thing I know, she's doing bloody laps in the Groms races at 6 years old. I was like, this is excellent. So if a 6-year-old girl can get the confidence in a couple of social rides, so can you.
For real. Yes. And so I heard some side quests for the ladies and the trick. What did you mention, Kate? Help me out here.
Women's progression clinic.
Yeah, the clinic. Are there other items like freestyle or anything else going on?
Do you want to talk about freestyle?
So the answer is yes, definitely. But I'm personally not involved in arranging it, so I can't tell you the details. But I think we've got what's happening. Mark, is it Nick's taking the lead on it, isn't it?
So yeah, we're gonna basically the freestyle competition. Last year we ran. Max helped us and ran a game of float. This year we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to change it up quite a lot. We're going to have judges scoring the freestyle. So Nick is currently writing the rules around that, but the general gist will be there will be 5 tricks that you are to attempt. And then you'll get a 30 to 45 second freestyle element to that as well. So you have a set time, so you have to complete 5 set tricks, then 30 seconds or a minute, or depending on if we get 20 riders, we might make it 30 seconds. If we get 10 riders, it might be a minute, but then you get to do a freestyle routine. Your attempts at the tricks will be scored, and your freestyle routine will be scored as well by our panel of judges, and the winner will be crowned the person with the most points.
Interesting.
I think basically it's dancing on ice, or it's dancing with the stars, or whatever you want to call it. It's the same as most sports thingies are scored. So we're going to have some panels that are going to score audience participation. Obviously, if you're getting big cheers from the audience, that's going to get a bigger score. Whether you style out a complete and utter messed up trick, if the audience are cheering, it might get you a bit more, half a point more on the score sheet. But yeah, we've got a number of different trick things. I literally had a conversation about an hour ago with the guys from Vault Tour, who are helping us as one of our sponsors this year, and they're bringing along a few little extra bits for the trick area as well. So we'll have a number of different things, from rails and scaffold poles and jumps and all sorts of things.
There's already quite a lot of features that you've built already for the trick area that's going to be up all weekend. So the trick area, aside from when we're doing the trick competition, the trick area is going to be open for anyone to have a go. And we're still working out some of the finer details of the schedule, but I'm sure there'll be some progression clinics of some sort across the weekend.
Okay, so it's going to be a trick competition with obstacles, not a flat ground competition.
That's a good question, actually. Mark?
You are asking the wrong guy here, ladies and gentlemen. I can't even run a
We should-
seesaw without injuring
Where is
myself.
Nick?
But
should
yeah,
be
where is
wrapped.
Nick? So no. What the basically idea? We're going to have a number of different. There will be in that area. There will be a number of smaller kickers that we have got that are built. We have some of the Vault Tour kickers as well, just in the general area altogether. When it comes to the trick competition, the intention is very much getting a number of the features from the racetrack, because that will all be done and dusted, bringing those over. So the highest drop on those is, 51 centimeters, because it's 3 pallets high. However, a clever person might have designed a couple of the ramps that you can basically put the pallets underneath them, and there you can raise that up, and you could effectively create a drop of 1 meter, because they are all cut to a particular shape. Not that I've tried this out, obviously, that would be such a bad idea. A curb is too much for me. But you should be able to create a drop of 1 meter, should you wish to do that.
Okay.
So it really is.
theoretically,
People can move
it's
stuff,
gonna be awesome.
around. Yeah, I think last year when we had a lot of the
It's a good
trick,
question though, Vinny. Obviously, some of the details are still being worked out.
the details. I mean, to be fair, we put a load of stuff out last year, and then everyone just you move it around and move it around. I'm excited to see that, because we will have a big space for that, a very big space for that. It's basically the space where, for those that came last year, where we had the freestyle area and the bar, that entire area will be the freestyle area this year. So it's a big space.
Okay.
I'm excited about some of the games that Ben is going to be hosting as well. We don't all know all the details of that yet. So that's
I think
gonna be
Ben
really-
is the only one that knows any of the details. He has got so many little plans, and he's mentioned little things, and he's come up with different designs for
got loads of
stickers and
little notebooks
stuff.
with them all.
Yeah, he's got various different designs and ideas for different games that are going to be happening over the weekend, such as, well, I think he wants to do a high jump. I know he wants to do, I want to see a limbo. I want to not sod how high you can go on a one wheel. I want to see how low, how low you can go on a one wheel. You know, how squat, lay down. That's a watchable one for me. I don't care how high you can jump.
Maybe
How
we'll
low
do
can
that
you jump?
before the medic goes home for the day.
I mean, that's an important thing to mention. We do have medics on site Saturday and Sunday from 10 till 6:30, I think. They're there all day. They're paramedics. And then outside of those times, we have our roving medic, James, who is going to be helping us
don't
out
come
during
to
the... You can't even fill up a bloody fuel tank without getting yourself in dire straits.
Well, that we'll see, won't we?
That's a behind-the-scenes thing that no one knew about from last year.
Yeah, so there was so we had the generator, and the generator has a tank full of fuel, a certain amount, and we had a spare tank of fuel because we knew we'd run out halfway through the weekend. And so one evening, I think it was a Saturday evening, was it? Or I think it was probably the Saturday evening.
Yeah.
It was time to turn the generator off and then fill it up from the fuel bowser. And the fuel bowser is basically a big dustbin with a tube coming out of it and a pump on the top.
Yeah.
And me and Andrew, our chef, were around the back doing that. And as I was pulling the pump down, because it's like a manual pump, as I pulled the pump down, the hose popped off. And I just covered myself head to toe in diesel. As well, diesel. So I had to go immediately back to Mock's farm and strip down and have a shower. I had to say goodbye to my lovely hoodie, which is why I ended up buying one from Ben at the Float Life. And that's why I smelled like diesel for the rest of the weekend. However much I showered.
I think the shower gel of Brute is still in the downstairs shower if you need it for next year. I think it's moved, so I'll wipe the cobwebs off of it, and you can.
Yeah, that was. That's one of those moments. Like the second it happened, I just stood there for 10 seconds, just like not really knowing what to do next.
That was, definitely. It's always a challenge with these things because we also had an emergency generator at WoW. We luckily didn't need it, but it was a very big hassle to get it in place, and it's very big and lump things. And it's always with those things that things can go wrong. So it's definitely tricky to handle.
Yeah.
So
well, hopefully this year we'll be all right.
Yeah, you already had some training, so should be good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I might have to get one of those like hazmat suits that you.
Just by Eduardo's dinosaur. It's got a little window in it. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
we're on the same wavelength,
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
A dinosaur just pumping at the
And then a
Pumping
diesel fart into
effectively
the
a
soup.
dinosaur,
But
effectively
they've got
pumping
little hands,
dinosaur.
though. I don't think it'll work.
Yeah.
Small pumps.
And then you put a diesel fart into the suit. For real.
I do have a photo from last year actually of 2 dinosaurs tending to some lighting equipment or something.
That's cool. Yeah, these are hilarious pictures. Nice. So that's for the freestyle. You have some obstacles. What can people expect for the race? What kind of terrain is it for the people who haven't been to Shred the Shires?
Yeah, so we've got a big open field and we've designed a really twisty, tiny track in this field, and it goes around and up and down and back on itself. And I think we've got about 8 features.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And about halfway through, we go into like a little single track bit around what Mark described earlier as the original Shred track, which was like a little corner of the field, which is a bit lumpier and it's got a berm. And it goes down to single track and there's a few rollers. And last year that was really towards the end of the track. This year it's going to be halfway through, so it's going to add a little bit more interest, because partway through the race you'll have to go down to single and then you'll be able to sort of open back up a bit. So add a bit of excitement to see who goes in first, who comes out first.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. It's also, there's loads of twists and turns, so it doesn't favour a particular goofy or regular rider, but we are going the opposite way around the field in general this year to last year to balance things out a little bit and add a bit of interest.
I love the way you say there's some twists and turns.
A few twists and turns.
I put my hand up. I am not apologising for any of the bastard
Handbrake
right
turns.
hand and left hand turns that I have put into that, because you got to be equal in this. If you create a racetrack that is purely set for people to go fast, that's not fair on everyone. Anyone can go fast in a straight line as long as you just grip your butt cheeks hard enough and just keep on going. But it's the turns, it's the tight turns, it's the twists. So yeah, there is a. My dad named it this last weekend. He went, "Who's sitting in that Pyrenees corner down there?" Which is literally about, I don't know, 10 meters from the start line. It is literally, we go down and we go like that. It's a sharp turn, so it is a whole shot, so to speak. But yeah, I am to blame to that. But it's good.
It was a joint effort.
It was a joint effort, mostly because I didn't realise that I couldn't see when I was cutting the grass the first time, I couldn't see where it was. And originally it was a lovely sweeping corner. And then I came back and went, oh shit, the stick's over there.
Mark,
so
what have you done to my track?
No, it's fine now. I'll tell you what, you haven't seen the chicken lines. The chicken lines are horrible. Last year, there was a bit of an issue. We've learned through experience that after a few laps and a few hours of people riding over it and taking the B line, the chicken line, over the feature. So if you can't hit the feature, we've stuck in a B line over nearly all of them, apart from the rollers. Anyone can do the rollers. But after a bit of use last year, they got very smooth. Some of them for some really nice arches. And actually, if you went quick enough and really tucked yourself in, you could take the chicken line and be quicker than going over the features. Okay. This year, that ain't going to happen. You have to go back on yourself about 2 meters and then take a very sharp turn to come back and down as a little. Most of them from the air, most of them look like an M. That was just accidental, to be fair, but I've kind of signed all the chicken lines. Me and my kids went there, and then I went, just walk in front of me, and then went around, and my eldest turned around and went, hang on a minute, I'm going to be doing most of these chicken lines, so this isn't fair, they're too long. So, designed by a 12-year-old, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Well, a 12-year-old and a man with the mentality of a 12-year-old.
2 halves make 1 full. All right. And it's the same track for the EOL race as for the amateur race that you are going to set up?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So the whole premise is going to be we're going to separate those up based on the time trial. So the whole thing is going to be based on those time trial times, and then everybody will just do exactly the same track. We need to find a different way, because the whole thing is obviously EOL points, because everyone will be ranked from 1st to 70th or whatever. But yeah, it'll be exactly the same. We won't make it any different.
Shout out. Oh, sorry, Mark.
No, go on.
I was going to say maybe we should
Adam.
shout out to Adam, who's kind of an honorary member of the team who looks after, among other things, the timing.
Of course.
Who did an amazing
Also
job
one of our
last year
Spence.
and is back again.
Last year, one of his key tasks involved bailing people out of the shower at midnight.
I didn't quite understand. So
this year.
Showers will be much better.
Yes, our showers this year were much better. But I had a phone call with Adam the other night for about an hour when I was driving home, and he said something about the showers. He said I won't have to be going to the showers at midnight, but I had no clue what he was talking about. So what was he talking about?
So last year we didn't have enough power capacity to be charging boards and running the showers at the same time. So we had different time slots where you could have a chance to charge your boards during the daytime. But then if you wanted to take a shower, you had to wait until the evening. And so the showers were available from, I think it was 9 p.m. till 9 a.m. And then we switched it around and did board charging in the day. So people were taking showers late at night because of that. So there were a couple of times where people were having showers very late at night, and was there a problem with the plumbing or something, or the shower tripped, and someone got stuck in the shower. Not stuck in the shower, but
yeah, it wasn't like a jackass kind of moment.
But Adam had to
fire
go
them across the field,
like reset it so that they could have water again, because I think there was someone in there all sodded up, and then there's water stuff.
I think because of the amount of rain we had, we were the shower was tripping occasionally. The showers we had last year, or the shower that we had last year, was terrible. It was kind of a nice to have. We never had budget allocated for showers at the very beginning, and then we kind of, as we got closer towards the event, we realized that we needed something, and so we got this one shower, but it was rubbish.
James, you are allowed to say that I am to blame for the cheapskate shower. It's fine. I'm the one that said we will have a plastic portaloo with a shower in it because we don't have any money. This year we've relented and we have gas heated showers.
You only find these things out from, and also, I mean, this is a bit like behind the scenes stuff, but basically the cheap shower turned out to consume huge amounts of electricity.
Yeah, okay.
And so upped our Jenny requirements, and so it really didn't save us that much money. It just caused issues. Anyway, so this year we've got gas-powered showers, which should be...
and it's like a trailer, like the toilet trailer, kind of fancy toilets.
Blocker
it's
showers.
Similar blocker showers.
So it should be a lot nicer, and it doesn't gobble up a load of power, so we're not going to have to turn off the board charging at a certain time and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it should all just be a bit nicer than last year.
The toilets were really good last year.
They were fantastic.
Like everyone commented on how nice the toilets were. They were great.
I have to say they were very well cared for and looked after at 7 o'clock every morning, and cleaned and freshened up for everybody's use for the day. No, I did. But we have other people cleaning them this year, not me. I'm not cleaning toilets this year. There's so grass cutting,
it's the
building
loser
features,
of
and
each
cleaning
bracket
loose.
cleans the toilets this year.
Yeah. So this year we've got a small camping fee. It's not much, but last year it was completely free. But because we're having these much nicer facilities, we've got to cover that cost somehow. So we've got a small camping charge.
So there's an option to camp on site?
Sorry?
There's an option to camp on site?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep, and there's toilets, there's showers.
Free tea and coffee included.
Free tea and coffee, boiling water for the tea and coffee, and then fresh drinking water as well.
Okay.
I think we're only charging for adult camping though, aren't we?
Yeah, grams go free.
Yeah,
I think probably, Vinie, you'd count as an adult, I'd imagine.
Right.
Yeah, so the camping this year is only £35 for the whole weekend. So if someone turns up on Friday, and because it's a bank holiday in the UK on the Monday, they can leave on the Monday and they pay £30 for camping for the whole weekend. Okay. Which is why we've got a lot of Groms dragging their adults along, because they're just camping for 30 quid for a weekend and get to use all the facilities. That entitles, everyone will can get free tea and coffee over the weekend. During particular times, I'm going to be honest with you, we're probably going to take the kettle away when it comes to about 7 o'clock at night, simply because we have a bar and people will need to use the bar. Otherwise, we won't be back next year, because it's the only reason why we're back this year.
So the camping, is it available only for tents, or can you come with like a van or a camper to the camping?
You guys wait for me to answer, because I said I wasn't going to answer all the questions.
Nadine.
I don't want to pretend I know the answer. Yeah, we can. It's just adult camping, isn't it? That's what we charge for. So whether that's in a camper van or a caravan, or if you'll just bring your tent.
Sleep under the stars if you really fancy it.
Yes.
Doesn't matter the size of the tent.
There's no hookup for campers, so we can't give the campers power, although there's board charging and you can charge your phones and stuff over at the Nosedive Bar. So there's no electricity hookup. But you
That's
can
interesting to know for camping owners or camper owners. If they are looking to come there, they will need to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, but as I said, you can still charge all of your devices and stuff over at the Nosedive, and there's showers and toilets to use. So yeah.
And then we've got Ben and Andrew sorting out the breakfasts in the morning that people can buy. They're sorting out the lunch in the afternoon that everyone can buy. And then in the evenings, we've got a couple of food trucks coming along on Friday. Is it just the Thai wrap on the Friday? And then it's the fish and chip van and the Thai wrap on Saturday and Sunday. Am I right, guys?
Yeah, I thought fish and chips was just Sunday, but I could be wrong.
Saturday's one, I think.
Okay, cool. The fish and chips is the one that got stuck last year. That was fun.
Yeah, when you're trying to push a 30-ton truck that's filled full of fish and chips and it got stuck in a field. We did it, team effort. We pushed it out, and then the little hip wrap van, he got stuck on the Saturday as well, which was weird because he didn't get stuck on the Friday, and Friday was a wet day. But team efforts. It's not going to rain this year, so it doesn't really matter. And they're not coming all the way into the site. They're going to park on the hard standing just in the entry point. But yeah, so even though there isn't an electric hookup for people to be able to like cook their own stuff and things like that, there'll be plenty of places for them to come and purchase food and things. Particularly as we don't encourage and we will not allow anybody to have fires for their sausages roasting over an open fire. They will be politely or impolitely, as I did last year, requested to put them out because fires cause damage, and I can't have damage on the field in any way, shape, or form.
The village council will let us hold another event if there are any fires. That's the main issue. That we still
I was trying to avoid that
run it again next year.
Yeah,
a couple of neighbours, haven't we, on the just to the side of the field as well.
Yeah, so we have to obey certain rules, and the polite way is saying, please don't, we won't be having any fires. The impolite way is, if we don't, we can't come back next year, even though it is a private field. We can't have that risk of fires. We might have a controlled fire pit one of the evenings, depends on how cold it gets or how warm it gets. But that will be organised by us and patrolled and supervised by untrained professionals.
Yeah,
with fire extinguishers, with really big fire extinguishers.
Part of the behind the scenes thing is that even though it's private land, there's a public footpath that goes straight diagonally across the middle of it. So we have to get, or Mark has to get, I should say, permission from the local authorities to redirect that footpath around the outside of the field for the duration of the event. So there's quite a lot of like logisticy bits behind the scenes that we have to go through to make sure it happens.
Yeah. We even had to submit an article to the local village newsletter to inform everyone of what would be happening.
Yeah. So are you expecting any local spectators?
Oh, we got quite a few in for beers last time, didn't we? Yeah, it was nice. They really enjoyed it, especially on the race day. It's fun just watching everyone just run around.
It's nice to see them weigh in as well and to make it an actual community event. For the local
because it's a very small village that we hold it in. I think there's only about 200 houses in total in Wadden, in the village itself. There's no shop, there's no nothing. There's a golf course that has a bar, and if you go and try and buy a drink in the bar, you'll immediately come back to the Nosedive Bar and realise that it's about a third of the price. So there's no facility, not even any street lights in the village. So staying your safety is to stay in the campsite. But yeah, a lot of the villagers come down because we've got the food trucks in the evening as well. We've got the good barbecue going on because it's really, really nice food on the barbecue that Ben and Andrew cook. So yeah, we had a lot of nice extra spectators coming and going, what's all this about then? Oh, what's that? I mean, to be fair, that's just my dad with this voice, weirdly. But yeah, it's nice to get the spectators in because it's bringing more of the community in again, just kind of normalizing Onewheels, which is an important point as well.
Yeah, it's a really nice community vibe. A few weeks ago when Mark and I were laying out the track and marking out where it's going to go so that Mark could cut the grass, there were a few people walking past on the public footpath, sort of going, "What are you doing?" And asking about it and saying they might pop down. So it's really good.
Yeah.
And I remember last year, Mark, we all came down in the summer after Shred the Shires, and there was a village fair of fate, and we all one-wheel down just to kind of say hi to the local community and kind of thank them for coming along, supporting our event a little bit and going and supporting theirs. So.
Well, that was quite funny because I stayed with all the one wheels and everybody went off to go and get a burger or something like that in the fete. So I had sort of 8 or 9 one wheels dotted around me, and people just started coming towards me because we were kind of just on the edge of where all the stalls and things were. And they were like, "Oh, are you doing a stall? Are we able to have a go?" I was like, not really. We just had an event a couple of weeks ago. Oh, we heard about that. Come down next time and buy some beers. So yeah, I showed a few of them, and we ended up doing the usual thing when you stand anywhere for long enough and you get members of the public and you go, "Well, it's a self-balancing skateboard," and you put your foot there. We're just running it around. But I thought if they'd only had the fate before we have Shred the Shires, we could really drum up a bit of business. But yeah, that was quite interesting. They're all very welcoming. It's a nice little village to do it in, and we're quieter than they have bloody parties in the village halls. To be fair.
Okay. Then maybe to finalize the interview, how easy accessible is Cambridgeshire, if I could pronounce that correctly?
He even said it with a bit of a twang as well, which I enjoyed. Cambridgeshire.
Shire.
Yeah. With a Lord of the Rings twist to it there.
For the people traveling, how accessible is this town?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get to if you're flying in from abroad. It's near Stansted Airport.
Yeah, make sure you pick the best. There's quite a few London airports, and they're nowhere near London. So,
which one is the best one?
Stansted is the best one.
Stansted.
Probably Luton next.
Yeah, you've got Stansted and Luton airports. They are exactly it's weird where we are situated. Stansted and Luton airports are 45 minutes either direction. Doesn't really matter where. Oddly, both A&E departments are also 19 minutes in either direction. Just as a point, they're both exactly 19 minutes. One in Cambridge and one in Stevenage.
We probably need to let Nick know that because he's usually the guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Nick's the driver. Nick's the designated driver for any injuries. And yeah, public transport wise, there isn't any buses or stuff like that. And the nearest train station is just about 4 miles away, down the worst piece of pathway you would ever want to ride a one wheel down. It is horrendous. I could ride to the big supermarket whenever I want, but I don't because it's worse than going over the worst trails you've ever done. It's just broken tarmac. So it's not overly advisable.
We've got a good community WhatsApp chat going. So if you booked a ticket, you're interested in coming, make sure you're on the WhatsApp community group for Shred the Shires, and feel free to ask questions. Like if you're coming on public transport, I'm sure others will pick you up if they're driving. Just chat to
even share airport pickups or share taxis. The core Shred the Shires team, because we'll be so busy, we can't commit to anything. But if we've got some spare time, we'll help out. But there's enough people kind of coming around that if you need picking up from the station or you need to share a ride with someone from the airport, I'm sure it'll work out. And if one of the core team happens to be available, I'm sure we'll help you out as well.
And it's a very active community. I actually had to mute the group for the interview.
Yeah,
it's a chatty little group. I mean, we
stayed pretty active
all year.
It
has, all year round. It stayed pretty active, and then
as it really stick together. You can
as it's grown.
Chats of every event. It's even WoW isn't happening, and we still have a chat going on. It's so cool to see that people stick around and just go for it.
I think a nice little shout out, and a little shout out needs to be given to Hannes though for as we were saying before you guys came on about highlighting the need for the EU pass.
The visa.
The visa, that's the thing.
Yeah, I was going to.
Has that just come into force?
It seems to be a new thing. I hadn't heard about it. I saw it in the chat as well. It seems to be an application, and you have to pay for it. It gets more expensive tomorrow. And I don't have my international passport yet, which is also a requirement if you're from outside of the UK. So that's something to take into account for a lot of people traveling. Yeah, we need an international passport and together with the visa to get into the UK. So really take that into account if you plan to travel to the event, make sure that you have all the paperwork. Otherwise, you could get stuck at the border.
What's the cost of this thing? Does anybody know?
A passport in Belgium international is 75 euros, the normal procedure. And then the visa was 5 euros, and it's going to be 10 euros tomorrow, if I understood correctly, something like that.
I understand something
Yeah,
like
maybe
that.
even 10 and then 15.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's
It's not your fault.
it's how the world is being run.
Whoever
these
put it in
days.
place, I didn't vote for them. That's all I can say.
But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it was something that was announced 6 months ago or something, but is only starting to come into force like now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people are not used to it from last year, so that's a good one.
Yeah,
to
and we
take
will
into.
No, it
probably end
definitely
up
wasn't
with
around last year.
yeah, we'll probably end up with news articles in the papers next week about people stuck at airports and things like that.
With Onewheel, strange machines. And...
More fun stuff.
But it should be pretty simple. It should just be like the visa system when you're going to the States or Canada. You just do it digitally. I know it sounds like people are talking on the WhatsApp. It sounds like it's a bit clunky, but if anybody needs any hand with any of it, just reach out to one of the team and we'll help you out.
Yeah, and there's loads of people helping each other out on the journey, which is really good to see.
All right, cool. We got a lot of cool information from the Shred the Shires event.
Come on, I have been saying it for 14 long episodes, and at the right point, you can't even say it.
It's been a long day, man. It's been a long day. I had to guide an intern. It's somebody who's joining the Force, a young girl, and we had our first shoot today, and she was already late. So I had to counter a lot of the actions there, and like we had to film all day, and nothing wanted to work today. It was one of those days. I'm really lucky the podcast went not that smooth, but almost that smooth.
Yeah.
So it's one of those days. All right. I really want to thank everyone for your time, for the explanation and information about the event. We are really looking forward to joining. I'm actually also joining the crew. Maybe if all things go right, we should have a live podcast episode as well at Shred the Shires. So still figuring out how we're going to do that. But
Fuck
yeah, we
knows.
like
I have no
experimenting.
idea. We can't even get this to work, and then we've got power and lights and shit. But
It's gonna be
James will
live,
make
so-
it work.
Yeah,
James will make it work.
Oh no,
it's going to be cool.
we all make it work. We'll make it work.
We haven't said dates. It's the 2nd to the 5th of May, and it is running from Friday afternoon
Yeah.
through to Monday morning. So we've got
1
full
o'clock
days,
until
Saturday
12
and
o'clock.
Sunday.
1 o'clock Friday to 12 o'clock Monday.
Yeah,
If you're
so
still there at 12 o'clock
stuff
Monday, you'll be
happening
helping us
all the
take a
way
market
through.
apart.
Yeah, but there'll be stuff
To be fair-
happening all
to
the
be-
way through
to be
Sunday
fair-
evening. So don't leave early if you can.
Yeah, everything's going to be happening right the way up until Monday morning, where we'll have a couple of social rides. Another big shout out to so many different people that helped out last year, that helped us do the breakdown. We have a really great team, but by Monday we were running on, I don't know what we were running on, absolutely nothing, and yet
We're running
I
on
came
Go
down.
energy drinks.
Yeah, basically, yeah, we're running on Go Energy Drinks. Shout out to Go. And towards the end of it, I think I came down. It was about 8:30 in the morning. I managed to finally sort of get myself down to the field, and I turned up, and all the stakes had been taken out, all the fencing had been taken down. I was sitting there going, "Bloody hell, guys, who's done all this?" And they're like, "Everybody else. None of us. We've only just turned up. Ben's there cooking the breakfast and stuff like that." And I was shout out to the community of the guys that helped out, Lewis and Hannes and everybody else who I forget to mention at this moment in time. So we were very grateful for the help. Yes, they do. And they will be very helpful again. Very grateful again this year, guys. Just saying.
Yeah. It's amazing to see all the volunteers always jumping in, even when you don't ask and you fall out with some broken ribs. People jump in and just do what is not expected from them. That's why we love this community so much. So thank you to everyone who's watching. You know who you are.
Okay, guys, Vinny's trying to wrap this up because he's exhausted. So I would like to say, as the host, thank you very much for coming along tonight, guys. It has been a pleasure. And I will now try not to speak too much about Shred the Shires, but let's face it, I'll now just refer to anything anybody then says about what we did this year on subsequent podcasts. So I ain't going to shut up about it. Sorry. But thank you, guys. I will see you all very soon.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
See you in
Thank you for
3.5
the time.
weeks.
And see you in a couple of
Have a
weeks
good-
for real.
Yeah.
Live. All right, so we had an awesome chat with some people of your crew. Really looking forward to the adventure that is awaiting us. For me, it's the first time. Last year, I didn't make it to the UK, but this year, really looking forward to having an awesome event out there.
Yeah, it is going to be good fun. We have, as you guys have now seen, that was a quarter of the team. We've got a fantastic team behind us. I wish everybody else could come in there. Ben's currently in New York, so he couldn't come in. Andrew's in Tenerife. You know, these guys, like 3 weeks before the event, and they buggered off on holiday for a couple of weeks, which is just great. No.
Awesome.
They've done a lot of work in the background, so it's just one of those things. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it, and it's going to be good. You'll see a lot more videos of the build, a bit more preparation coming up over the next 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, we still have the Barcelona event in between, so also looking forward to that.
I want to see some live clips from that. None of this edited 3 weeks later crap. I want to see, what I want to see is in our movie competition on Sunday night. Shred the Shires.
We might have
a bit of footage from that.
We might
A
have
little bit of footage
prepared.
from that. Could win a special prize. I'm not saying what the special prize might be, but you might win a special prize.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to shredding with the boys. We also have some people from the EUC community joining, probably some e-skaters as well. So it's good to mingle with the different communities, get to know new people, and connect with like-minded souls. That's the whole goal of the trip. So really looking forward to that. And we have our Spanish friend Jorge, who was on the interview today, in the lead of that project. So it's awesome to see the Spanish crew stepping up and allowing me to breathe a little bit. So thank you for that.
Enjoying that Spanish sun.
Yeah, although we can't complain. Last days we had some good shreddings. I am missing my Vesk a lot though. The battery is I was looking into buying one.
Yeah,
I need a new battery, but if there's any battery builders out there, I already reached out to some people to get one short term for the Barcelona trip, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So I'm gonna be growling in Spain. So yeah,
not grumbling, just growling.
Growling, roar, like roar, roar.
I did not need to hear you ever make that noise.
All right, I think it's time to wrap things up. It's getting out of hand. All right. So thank you to you and your team for the awesome chat tonight. We will have some new guests in the next podcast. Can we already reveal something about that?
I'm waiting for a confirmation. Confirmation on that.
Still a mystery. So our mystery guest will appear in a couple of weeks. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date. Hit those notifications, the thumbs up video, the thumbs up button. It's really time to close down. Hit that thumbs up button if you like what you see. Share it with your grandma, your grandpa, your whole family, and we'll see each other on the next time. Mark, take it away.
Grandma and Grandpa, excellent. Keep that nose up. Jesus. That was good.